All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about something that's not really new anymore, but it has kind of taken over in the fishing world in the past probably, I guess, 15 years. It's completely changed the face of fishing, and that is fluorocarbon fishing line. So, you know, fluorocarbon first came out, had a lot of properties that made it really advantageous to bass fishermen. Number one, it has less stretch, it's more dense, it has better abrasion resistance around hard cover, and it also has more sensitivity because it is more dense. But that can come with some necessary changes that you have to make in the way that you rig up your baits and stuff. And the biggest thing is going to be the knot that you select. So, you know, I use fluorocarbon for probably 92% of all my fishing applications, and I tie one knot for almost all of my fluorocarbon applications. So, you know, that's one of the most important things that you can do in bass fishing, is making sure that your knot is as good as it can possibly be, because whenever you actually get that bite, sometimes you don't get many bites a day. When you get that bite, everything you can do to put it in the boat is an advantage. So I remember one tournament in particular where I was fishing a college tournament, and in one day I broke off like 6 on the hook set using fluorocarbon. It was whenever I was first getting into it, and I realized quickly that it was my knot, because somebody told me and showed me a knot, and ever since I've been using that knot, I've had almost 0 failures. I mean, it's been just phenomenal ever since then. So I'm gonna show you all the knot that I use, and I pretty much only use Sunline Shooter fluorocarbon, which is the hardest and most dense fluorocarbon that there is. So the knot is extremely important whenever you use a really quality fluorocarbon like that. So I tie the double pitson. You can kind of see how it looks right there, super small, neat, and clean. And I'm gonna show you how to tie that knot. All right, guys, I've got a jig right here. I've got my fluorocarbon right here. I run the line through the line tie, back through the line tie, and I always switch hands. So I have a loop in my left hand, I have the main line and the tag end in my right hand. I make a circle around, going over my index finger in between my thumb, through the jig, and then I come up with the tag, with the loop, and I make a complete circle. Then I take the loop and I wrap it 3 times around the loop that I created with the main line tag end and the loop that was in my left hand. Then I go from there with this loop and I put it through the hole that's between my index finger and my thumb. Then from there, I get the knot in about that position, and then now the knot is pretty much completed. I just wet it and then cinch it down on the top of the jig. And then right there, whenever I pull it, you've got 3 tag ends. And the cool thing about this knot is the entire knot cinches down to the top of the line tie. It's got 2 main lines going underneath the line tie, which gives you twice as much strength as some knots, and then it's got the knot on top, which cinches down. So whenever you pull harder, that knot cinches down to the top of the line tie, and it doesn't burn any fluorocarbon underneath it, because there is no fluorocarbon underneath that knot. So I get it to that position. Now I cut my tag ends off. You have 3 tag ends, you have a loop, and then you have a regular tag end. And then that's the knot that I flip, and I have almost 0 failures with that knot. The 2 knots that I tie by far the most is I tie that double pitson on my bait casters, and then I tie a FG knot for spinning reels. You can see right here the blue is braid and the white is fluorocarbon, and you can see they laid the fluorocarbon and the braid across each other, and now they're just cascading up with the braid. I do 22 wraps, that's what I do. Then whenever you get to the completion of your wraps, which we're coming to right here, then you take your braid and you actually make an overhand knot, wrap it around both tag ends, your mainline braid and your tag end fluorocarbon. I do this 4 times. You can see right here in the animation, they're doing it a few more times than that, but I only do it 4. Then you cut your fluorocarbon tag in and make 2 more, and that just kind of seals off the knot. Okay, so as you can see, that animation was actually easier to follow than me tying it. So that is on the Sunline America website. You know, they have a lot of those knot tutorials on their website, and they do a lot of testing with knots, because obviously they're a fishing line company. They want to make sure that the fishing line performs to the best it possibly can. And through all their testing, the best knot is actually the Tornado HH knot. Has passed all the tests and beat every other knot there is. So I don't tie that knot because I'm from Alabama, and if it ain't broke, we don't fix it. So I like the double pitson. If you want to try the Tornado, it's on their website. That is, it's an easy knot to tie. I just don't like the way that it looks, and I have no reason to tie it right now because I have such good performance. But you can go check out all the knot tutorials, and I think they do a really good job over there. But the 2 knots I tie, like I said, are the FG and then also the double pitson. So that's what gets me through an entire tournament year.